guys, this is Lance with Cryptid Brothers Investigations of Oklahoma, and many of you have been wanting to know where we've been, what's going on, how come we haven't posted shows. We're all here, myself, Wiley, Dave, Brother Bill, Layne couldn't be with us, we have Mike back behind the camera, and Sarah's assisting us, so we just thought the best way to get back on here is just sit down. Many of you have had questions. I couldn't put all the questions on the 3x5 cards, it'd be really thick here, so we're in my backyard here, and Mike was gracious enough to help with the cameras and setup, so the rain has stopped long enough for us to do this. So we're just going to get right to it, and many of you had these questions, and so we're just going to ask them and then answer them the best we can here. So let's just go right to it here. Here it is, no random order. Sarah shuffled these. Lance, how is the podcast show coming since you talked about it last November? Well, and you guys chime in anytime. The podcast has been going actually very well. The studio is kind of in the process of being built as I have the revenue for it. We have brand new equipment. I haven't put out a podcast with the new equipment yet, although I probably have about 10 to 12 shows in queue with the new podcast equipment. But it's going great. It sounds wonderful. We're very thankful. We've got quite a few members right now. Members of the Patreon site, I guess you say. And that's the next question. I followed you guys from the very beginning, so why would you guys just drop your followers by not posting any YouTube shows? And you guys, go ahead.
We're doing it now, but certainly, you know, we were in the past, you know, more frequent with the shows, but yeah, I mean, we're still gonna try to ramp that up, but yeah, I mean, we haven't went away, we're still here, and so, of course, we're still around with the membership site, but I can't remember the last post we did on YouTube.
I think it was your show, and
like 2-3 months ago, maybe.
And the thing that I think of what people need to know is that we don't have like 20 people on the team of this operation that we have. It was something we started in January 2017, and I primarily produce the shows, and my brother Bill has helped a tremendous amount, and so has Mike, to kind of fill in those gaps. And we all do this, we have jobs full-time. We still enjoy to do this immensely, and we dedicate a lot of our time to do it, mainly to help people cope with their encounters. But it's, by the time I get through producing shows and interviewing and working full-time, it's really hard to, and everybody can, I mean, we just got off work today, everybody can attest that it's really hard to get the time because I'm interviewing at night and you have to go back and edit. And I'm not trying to give an excuse, I'm just saying that that's just the way it has to. Bill's busy, I'm busy, Wiley's busy, Mike works where Wiley's at, and Sarah's busy too, so again, no excuse. But right now I was kind of hoping to do this full-time, but it hasn't transpired yet, so when we get enough members to do that, I'll break away and we can do that. So we didn't mean to leave anyone hanging, but that's what this show is, to inform people that we're still around and that we care about you guys. We still do. It's just hard. It takes a lot of time to do this, and if you're a podcaster, you know what I'm talking about. So let's see. These are real questions. Who on the team is the toughest and who is the weakest?
I guess we can arm wrestle right now, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if there is a, I don't know. It's really hard to answer that because we all have our skills.
I think we all have tough mindsets.
Yeah, that's a good, we all have pretty tough mindsets of how we grew up. We grew up pretty rugged where we lived. We had a lot of things, you know, growing up country. And I know, Wiley, I mean, you grew up in Tulsa, but you still had to be pretty tough.
Spent most of my time on ranches dealing with bad coyotes and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and that takes a tough mindset because it's chilly when you go out there and you're hunting those coyotes when it's like below zero out there, so.
Stayed the night on the prairie in the desert a lot of times.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's really a weak person. I mean, that, you know, I think we all kind of are like I said, tough mindsets.
We complement each other.
Well, we bring different skills, but we're all, in my opinion, good at what we do as far as different skill sets.
Yeah.
What we're doing here, when we fixing to go hunting, and I'm going to start calling these in. This ain't for no romper room, boys. I'm telling you. When you see it, there's nowhere to go.
Well, and that's right. I mean, so.
But none of us are scared about it.
No.
I've already seen it. I ain't scared. Only thing I just didn't have, if I had a big enough gun, we'd have done business that day. But this is the deal now where we got enough brain power here and people that know what to do, that when we encounter it, it's going to think, what are these guys going to do? So it's going to be a standoff. We're going to see what's going to happen.
And I think that brings up, even though it's not a question, is I think it doesn't mean that we're bigger, badder guys. I think it's just a matter of we're confident in our skills and our mindset that allows us to do what we do going out at night and investigating, and we want to. And if you're not a little bit tinged afraid of these things or have some healthy fear, then you're not human. It has nothing to do with being a man or not a man. It has everything to just being calm, using your smarts, using logic, and practicing a lot. And practicing with your firearm, practicing, having good equipment and good people behind the scenes like Sarah and Mike. We all complement each other. We all take care of each other. And that's what you need. You need a team of people. You don't want to be doing this alone.
It's not about you. It's not about being tough. It's about using your head so you don't get yourself in a situation where you got to be tough.
That's right.
That's
right. Good point.
I mean, when I was hunting those coyotes, people would say, well, a coyote's not very big. He can't do anything to you. They never seen one 60 pounds locked on somebody's kneecap, and you're trying to shoot the thing off of him while the guy's standing there. That's a serious situation.
Yeah. And sorry about the noise back here behind. There's a busy road back here. So that's a very good point, Wiley. So very good question. I mean, these are real questions here. Lance, can people still call you guys if they have an encounter? Yes, absolutely. And we still get calls right now, even from the shows that we posted on YouTube. The toll-free number is 866-306-8085. And you'll hear the message. It's me on there, the recorded message. And we still get people calling, believe it or not. And we actually get a lot of people that have seen something once. They'll call again 2 and 3 times because they have a lot of stuff going on. The smoke, I got it too smoky. The wind's changed. And but they've had multiple encounters going on, and sometimes different creatures. So we get calls, and we stay friends to a lot of these people.
Yeah, I still get texts from a lot of folks that I've interviewed, and it's interesting. Kind of going back to when we go out in the field as well. I mean, a lot of this information that we're gaining actually from Bigfoot and knowing their behaviors is not necessarily from books, although we read books, but it's actually talking to the people that's had these encounters, and certain behaviors is that they'll tell us that we go into the field with that knowledge. So that's just another added benefit, and gives us a little bit more confidence to kind of understand how best to kind of encounter these things when we do go out. So, but yeah, I get the text still, and Oregon to Connecticut,
so we get a lot in Oklahoma. I mean, a lot now that we're Oklahoma boys, and so we get a lot of people that contact. But we also, you name some states, we still get
Florida. It's a big
Florida and Ohio.
Yeah, Florida.
After the Ohio
hotspot.
After we aired that Ohio episode 24,
yeah,
we just get loads of people from Ohio calling us. I'm friends with dozens of them. They send me texts. I just got a text today from a lady in Ohio. I got one from Oklahoma and one from Florida yesterday. So they just happen to live in some hot spots, and they're scared. So these are some of the things that we want to go as we get time. And right now, in the meantime, we're trying to give them non-lethal ways to help get rid of the problems they're having, as well as kind of some lethal things if it comes right down to it.
Who not to talk to.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Who to talk to, who not to talk to.
Right.
Okay, moving on here. Good question. Okay, here's one. Lance, you've said many times that your team are Christians. You guys are Christian. Is this a conflict for you guys in investigating and searching for these creatures?
No.
No?
These things been around before, even during biblical times. They've been here all this time. I mean, it's just a big deal now where it's ramped up where this is a big hot news item, you know, so everybody's looking at the deal. But they've been here all through when Moses was here. They've been here, you know, just they didn't talk about it that much in the Bible, but I'm assuring you that Noah didn't load them on the ark. So, you know, yeah, but they were here.
Yeah, I think that's, you know, there's some hot buttons right now in this scene, this genre, this community. You know, whether it's a shoot, don't shoot, are they a human type of being? Are they not? Are they a fallen angel? Are they not? Are they talk about are they alien? Do they come through portals? And really, you can get off on these for hours and hours and hours. But I'm just going to say, bottom line, if I can't explain it, and my brother Layne's not here, but Layne is we call it Layneisms. Layne is very direct, and he goes
He's
right.
worse than me.
And so he just says, if it eats, poops, and sleeps in the wood, it can be killed.
Yeah.
And we don't want to go out and just create a fight to fight. We don't want to pick a fight if we don't have to. We just carry firearms basically to protect us, to protect Mike, protect Sarah when we're in the field. And so we're mainly firearm carriers, and we are very good at what we do because safety's first. Making sure it doesn't matter. If we're not safe, it doesn't matter. That whole investigation trip doesn't matter. So
it don't matter about this period. I mean, I'm going to say this, okay, across the board. I'm like Layne, but it don't matter if you're going camping with your family. If you're out camping with your family, if you got an RV or whatever, if you don't got a shotgun or some kind of a rifle or pistol in your truck or your RV or your tent, you're an idiot, okay? Because there's stuff out there that will eat you. And it might not be Bigfoot, it might be a mountain lion or a bear. Right. And the time to be saying, oh my God, is not when it's dripping saliva on your face.
And that can be applied almost to anywhere you go. When you step out your door, you just, you know, the world's
My dad always taught me when I was big enough to carry a gun, he said, when you step out that truck, make sure you always got it. It's just like your boots. Make sure you got it. You know?
You know, there's going to be people that I know you may have different mindsets on to carry a firearm or not, and that's your prerogative. But I will say this: if you don't, I appreciate Wiley, you know, being direct, and I agree with him. But if you don't carry a firearm, at least become educated about them. If you don't carry one, it's the person, not the firearm, and then also carry some type of a knife or something of that nature. Okay. Here's the next question. When will you be putting more shows on YouTube? Anytime soon? I need my Cryptid brothers fix. Yeah, I mean, this one right here will be on. Obviously, you're watching it. And we are getting better at putting some of the shows on for our members on Patreon. So, yeah, it's just, you know, we don't have a team of people that's dedicated. I can't send Bill to just do the YouTube shows and then nothing else, and then I just do one thing and one thing. So we all kind of spread it's hard to spread it out sometimes because you and I are the only ones that really, well, Mike, he's helped produce the show and he will on this one. So we try to do the best we can with the time frame we have, but we all have families and obligations.
We're going to ramp it up. I mean, we're doing this one obviously, but I think, you know, we're going to be ramping more of these shows up on YouTube. But
but we got a big encounter coming up here in a few weeks too. Going out there to do the one out in western Oklahoma. So
yes, and hey, Cryptid brothers, where have you guys been? So we kind of alluded to it a couple times. We've just been busy with our families and work, but we've had a lot of things going on behind the scenes. Lots of interesting encounters. We're still doing shows, but for the members, and we're taking time to do this for you guys because we started with you guys and we want to continue with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know there's a lot more people in this genre, more podcast, and we're very fortunate that we got in when we did because it was therapy for us, but now it became therapy for other people, the way people liked our style of interview. We're just good old boys from Oklahoma. We like our roots, where we came from, and we just enjoy people and we care about people, and that's why we want to get it to the heart of helping them cope and understanding these creatures and going out, and that's what we do. So
that you know, question about the fix, you know, getting the fix, I mean, that means a lot because, I mean, we take it, like, you know, Lance said, we take it very seriously. It's a passion, and I think we all, you know, share that, you know, passion, and, you know, we enjoy, you know, being informative and entertaining, and, you know, that scary part of it too, you know, with these encounters.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's, I got a call today from a truck driver, and there's a lot of truck drivers that are out there, people that drive commercial trucks and buses that listen to us.
Yeah.
And so you get used to it and a certain style, and they like it. So, and we got a lot of requests wanting Wiley, and so I know it takes some time, but Wiley's got his own fan club here. So, Lance, where do you see the podcast show moving toward in the future? Well, that's a really good question. I'll just say this: I can't give you all the details because I don't know all the details, but we have been contacted by some film companies already, and so it's exciting. I'll say that.
Yep.
And
Very
it was
exciting.
Unexpected.
Yep.
And so it's exciting news. And as we learn more, you'll learn more. So I'll just say that. We've been contacted, and so it's going to be a busy summer, I'll say that. And it's just awesome. It's really awesome. And you may see Wiley on the big screen. Let's just say that. Let's see. Lance, I need to get some Cryptid Brothers shirts. I see you wearing them, but I don't know how to get them. How can I place an order, man? I'm sorry if there's confusion there. Basically, if you want to get a shirt, I didn't write any people's names down. I probably should have wrote people's names down.
Well, do we have the details too, or just?
Yeah. So we don't have a lot of stuff in the store. I mean, we've got stuff, and all that really goes to fund the podcast show. It goes right back into the show, right back for camera equipment. We're trying to improve the audio, the camera. We want to do some other things too. But yeah, we have car window decals, posters, tees. We have some skull caps coming out, some patches, and we have coasters. So I'm going to be putting some of that on the website. The website is www.cryptidbrothersinvestigations.com is the website.
And they'll see it in the description too.
Yeah, they'll probably see it in the description. And so we got shirts like Wiley's wearing and everything. So you can take a look. And it's not for everybody, but if you make an order, it comes to me, and we try to fulfill as quickly as we can.
I mean, it's another way to support us,
Yeah, it is another way to support
really
us, and we don't make a lot, but it helps. Every little bit helps to fund us going out. It goes for fuel and everything else. So, Lance, what is the most terrifying or scariest investigation you guys have been on? Oh, that's it's kind of a hard one. I was going to say, for me, sometimes we don't all get together at once. I'd like to say we all get together. It's kind of this group and then that group here and there because we're kind of got different schedules. But I'm going to say probably Western Oklahoma when we went out to where Wiley. We're going to go back out and film. Many of you wanted to see exactly what Wiley saw that day. And we've had a lot of requests on Wiley's encounter in 2013. So Wiley agreed to take me back out, and Mike, and we're going to film step by step what happened that day when he was by himself. So,
and we'll do thermal at night as well, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
We're actually going to call.
That'll be cool.
When he was in the truck with me, and we were actually going to make another stand. We were calling coyotes, and I pulled the truck up and I said, "Oh, dogman tracks right there." I looked over and Lance was already out of the truck, man. He goes, where? I said, you're standing on him. I said, let me move the truck. So we moved the truck and we tracked that thing for half a mile down through
there. Well, I
That's
didn't
wild.
know we'd find him that
and
fast.
He was actually, he was shaking a little bit. He was excited. He could not believe they were right there.
Well, if y'all
they're
out there,
we just missed it by maybe an hour.
You need to watch that episode if you haven't. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, I wish I could remember the episode. But yeah, that was a... So the scariest part is when we went back out to the stand, and so we went out there, and then it was in the evening stand, and so we were just really kind of
We were looking around to see.
Yeah, I was anticipation, like, okay, it's going to come out of the woodwork somewhere here.
Because it just gives you that feeling, well, it was here once. What if it's still around here, And,
exactly. We
had varmint rifle, but we didn't have our big stuff.
But, we go out at night, or north, there's a lot of places, but we went out at night. North is also in the dark. We went at some other places. And we're going to go to some more here soon.
The one for me, and I'll be brief about that, but it was when we went down to southeast Oklahoma, and a gentleman saw, and we measured it, a Bigfoot that crossed the road when he was tending to his deer stands. It was 5:30 in the morning, March.
Raining,
it's been a few years ago.
Yeah.
But
remember, he asked me and you when we got out. He asked, his first thing is, he asked me and Bill. He said, "Are y'all's guns loaded?" Remember that? He asked that. I said,
well, yeah, and he was nervous.
He was notably shook up.
I need to get back in the truck.
He put his hands out and.
He was trying to hold his coffee at the cafe.
He was saying, "I'm nervous, guys," and I totally understand. I mean, I would be too if I saw.
Remember,
what he saw.
made me chamber my rifle. He goes, "Would you put one in the chamber and just in case?" I said, "Well,
yeah.
it's 10 foot tall. We're gonna have a problem."
Well,
we measured that.
That was.
Yeah. Tell him about. I mean, that the county sign was 10 feet.
I didn't post those pictures yet. That right there was the large, and this guy was close. It's not like he was seeing afar.
Right.
He was looking at it, and he says, "You know how you fixate your eyes on a part?" I was looking at the head, and I saw the background, and the shoulder is where that county sign, and that county sign hit, and we went, "What?" And
he
said,
was 2 feet above that.
So that was probably it was about 11 and a half feet tall. I mean, it was huge.
Yeah,
it was huge. And so
people don't realize how big that is until they get a tape measure out and look up at it. You know what I mean?
I know.
And he had weird things happen around his deer stands too,
Yeah.
with his cane cams and everything.
And it was so big, the way he described it, I was questioning. I just kept repeating, I felt like I was stuttering, but he said, no, I'm telling you, it was huge.
But remember, you guys went to check out that feeder.
Yeah.
And he said, I said, well, okay, I'll stay and watch the back door. I was going to sit on that rock. And he goes, "Are you all going to leave him here?" I said,
yeah, he was
worried. I got a 45-70. I think I can handle it,
Well, and this is extremely remote.
Yeah.
One interesting thing about that, too, is he had some salt lick blocks that were missing that had game cams on them.
Yeah.
And you saw it in one photo,
and you didn't
then you didn't see it in
Well,
the
he
next.
puts it out, and it's gone the next day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a raccoon's not going to do that.
No.
Nothing,
No. So that was an active area.
Yeah.
Even though we were in the daytime there, we knew there was high activity. Even the neighbors had some stuff going on. And so it's kind of it's hard to pinpoint one thing.
We think when he took us around the place there, we saw those watermelons sitting in that.
That's another thing.
In that mud puddle, remember?
Yeah, it was a pristine, beautiful watermelon out in the middle of nowhere.
Somebody trying to get some tracks.
Yeah. Somebody was feeding something.
Somebody's habitating them,
Yeah. Okay. Okay. These are real questions. Lance, silly question here, but who is the smartest of the group? We don't look at being. We all have our skills. There's a lot of things that Wiley knows regarding predator calling, and he thinks like a coyote, so we rely on his skills and tracking skills. I have a lot in the biological sciences and comparative anatomy sciences, botany sciences, and we grew up country. I mean, Bill has a lot of the medical that I don't have, and we grew up tracking, hunting, we know firearms, so Layne's the same way. So we don't look at who's smart, who's not, we all get along.
It's a top-notch team because we all melt together. Everything works. Everything's cohesive. That's what's good about it.
Yeah. I mean, there's no big egos here.
We have fun, and we also bring our skills. So it's.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of fun.
It's a win-win.
Yeah. So there's no big egos on the team at all. Okay, Lance, what is your team's opinion on what these dogman creatures really are? I've heard so many conflicting opinions and so-called people calling themselves experts on this dogman subject. What are they, and are they real? Well, I can get into a whole nother hour of discussion. Well, we kind of touched on that already. Wiley discussed that. They are real. They are 100% real. This is not a. I saw some other people making statements that it's just fictitious. It's just a good campfire story. They're not. We've had a lot of people calling with encounters, and one was just outside of Tulsa, and it wasn't too long ago where he saw that deer in the ditch I was telling you, and he looked immediately across, and he's a friend.
Was he an X-ray tech or something at a hospital, wasn't he?
No. He works like an architect here in Tulsa, and I don't talk to him that often, but we're friends.
Oh, that's the other dude you're talking about. Okay.
And so he was looking at the deer, not looking at him, but he slowed down because he wanted the deer, and he looked to the right, and he saw that. He said he called
That's just a few miles in this direction as the crow flies, right?
Oh yeah. And he just went. He just said, "Lance, I saw the largest wolf, dog, whatever the heck you call it, not even 15 yards from me, and it was sitting on its haunches, and it was like a statue. And he said, I thought it was a cedar tree. And then when I looked again, I saw it was the largest wolf I'd seen. He said, I couldn't stop because I was in a highway, so I went down the road, came back, and it was gone. So, and the deer wasn't high alert, it was just feeding off in the ditch. So that's a story that will be coming up soon on our, we actually have a in-the-field investigation going to happen with him here probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And so it's not too far away from Tulsa.
Well, there is no experts, okay? I'm going to tell you that right now. There ain't no experts, okay? This thing, when I found it, I didn't watch monster movies. I didn't believe in any of that stuff, really. I mean, I just didn't follow it. You know, I was hunting coyotes out there and doing stuff for my magazine articles and taking pictures. And I called, that was my last stand of the evening, and I called that thing and it showed up. And then after that, then it jacks up your head. You're trying to figure out what it is. But that was not some guy playing no hologram out there that I called in, because I seen it coming in for over 1,000 yards.
Well, that's most of our interviews too. It's people, they don't have a preconceived notion about it. They
Okay, well,
never
that's
really
the
heard about it, and then they see this creature, and they're just describing what they saw.
Yeah, what left the tracks? I mean,
Yeah.
I seen it. Then I take Lance out there. We track one for 3/4 of a mile. I go back out there because I was dating a girl out there for a little while. Me and her find tracks, and we track it for 2 miles down to the river, and this is one walking on each side of the road, okay? And somebody else seen that dogman, because, you know, if you know how to track and look at things, it tells a story. It's a story, and if you got to know how to read the story, and you could see right there where those tracks were, and then this truck had slid into the dirt bank and did the OHP turnaround, and I mean, just like that, and they laid rubber getting out of there. So somebody in the dark drove up on those 2 dogmen walking down the road, and they hightailed it out of there. I'd like to talk to them and find who
I'm excited when we go out there. That'll be
they're
really
there.
cool.
There's other people that seen them. They're there.
Yeah, and you know, Wiley, you brought up a good point. When we're pretty humble about stuff, because unless you're living with a pack, which I highly doubt it, if you're living with a pack of these dogman creature, we're all collectively calling it this, I doubt you're an expert. We're all learning. I always like to say we're students. Remain students and don't claim yourself to be the master. We're curious about the tendencies, characteristics, and habits of these things. So our goal is quite simple regarding this dogman creature. We want to get picture footage. We want to get more evidence and see these things in movement and how they operate in a pack, how they flank, how they hunt. So it's not for the lighthearted. You've really got to know what you're doing, otherwise you may get yourself hurt, and I'm being very honest with that. So I'm always leery if someone starts calling them an expert in anything.
Right.
I don't care what it is, if it's medicine or what, unless
you can always learn, right?
You can always learn.
And we talk so much, and so many hours we've talked among us as far as
really, if you
contingency plans and strategies. You know, because we realize we don't know it all. We need to maybe think of Plan B, C, D.
Well, listen to all these other shows and try to check out what's being said out there and stuff. You know, and there's guys. I mean, they'll sit there in the studio and they'll talk about it, but there ain't nobody out there doing what we're doing. Because I mean, I even when I talked to Jim, and he said, when we were down there talking to him, and he said they've been around Bigfoot since they were little, and they said, we don't want nothing to do with no dogman. That's it. We stay out of areas where they're at. We don't even go in there. And so that tells you right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing to take lightly. It's nothing to brag about if just because you're in search of these, but you know, it's something you've really got to watch your P's and Q's on seriously. And I don't recommend just to go out and say you're doing it. I would love to go out with you guys on an investigation. Are you allowing anyone to come with you? Not at this point. We've been asked a couple times.
Several, right?
Yeah, several times.
Is this a bravery test?
Several times, and so I think that right now it's just a matter of, you know, we take care of each other, but having one more in the group right now just maybe
eventually.
I think eventually we want to.
I think that would be cool eventually to do that, you know, but yeah, right now, like you said, I mean, we're
still learning as far as what we do. I mean, even though we've done it hundreds of times, so I just think eventually we're going to do that. We won't take a lot of people.
It's a safety issue.
It's
really.
a safety.
Check out really and
It's
see
a big
what they're going to do when we encounter them at a close range.
Yeah.
And we don't know each personality. And plus, if someone comes with us, you know, and they try to carry a firearm, we don't know their skills, and it's all about safety. So right now, not yet, but it may change for the future.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Lance, I heard that you're giving away some kind of trip. Could you please explain how I can enter? Okay, so, yeah. So back last October, I was telling people that we were going to go to a membership platform, and I asked people if they would support us if we did. We went, got it ready in November. It was kind of painstaking. We started it in December, and I told people on the YouTube show, if they start, whoever starts in December, it automatically enters them as long as they continue with their membership. It will enter them so many drawings depending on what kind of member they are. And so there's like 3 different kinds. So the people that started with us in December, those are the people that are entered. But we're getting ready to plan the next trip. And it's the trip that we're giving away is a 4-day, 3-night trip, all expense paid by us. You're with us, you're investigating with us, you're actually filming with us.
Just get to Tulsa.
Yeah, they just got to get to Tulsa.
Yeah.
Good point. You just got to get to Tulsa, and we take you from there. It's on our dime. And so we're planning trip number 2 giveaway. I don't know if we'll have 3 or 5 or 6, but I already have the cabin booked, the cottage, where we're at, and I'm planning some of the stages right now for the folks that joined in December. And so
those cabins are amazing. I gotta say that.
Those are
They're
very,
just
and
awesome.
I will say
As
this,
good as Mark's house.
but the cabin that we'll be at has high activity levels.
Yes.
So you could just go right outside, and
probably find a footprint right outside.
The owner of this cabin has talked to me.
Yeah.
And he's got all kinds of activities. Where 2 rivers converge. So I'm excited, and it's going to be in October. So we're going to draw in August 31st. So we're getting ready to plan trip number 2. So that will be for our members, people that join. You're going to be entered automatically as long as you keep your membership, and we'll go from there. But that's what that is. So Lance, what have you guys been up to lately in the field and everything? Working, interviewing, kind of went over that already, but I can't give you all the details yet. I'm not privy to a lot of it, but I'll just say some film companies have contacted us, and that's the most exciting part here lately. And everybody knows what I'm talking about here. And Sarah's right there, and Mike's right there.
She's doing a little dance here.
So, but as we know more, you guys will know more. But I'll just say it's super exciting, and we're very honored and blessed that these film companies have contacted us. That's repeated the same question. Lance, you've stated that you're a doctor in healthcare. What kind of doctor are you, and what kind of doctor is Bill, or is this a farce?
It's a farce.
I'm not going to tell you.
No, I've been a chiropractor for 22 years. I practice through the week. I still practice. I have patients. And I guess the next logical question is, do my patients know about my podcast show? About 90% of them do. It's not something you just bring up instantly when I'm seeing a new client, but when I'm with them, I'm serious about their health, whether I need to order any diagnostics, any testing or anything, treating them. I'm all chiropractor when I'm with them, but that's what kind of doctor I am.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for me, I mean, I've been a physician for over 10 years. I'm an urgent care doc, so, you know, I'm an osteopathic physician, so I kind of do the adjustment, manipulation kind of things similar to, you know, chiropractors. And so, yeah, we, you know, that's kind of our skill, I think, at interviewing folks. You know, we're sympathetic and can understand folks when they're going through a hard time, you know, when they've seen these cryptids, to kind of relate to that, because it is very traumatic for them. So I think that's kind of the skill set we bring, you know, for the podcast, you know, and then out in the field, our analytical ability to kind of understand, you know, what the game plan should be and kind of strategize. So I think it's a good mixture of, you know, of skills everyone brings to the team.
And it's nice to have someone like a medic, I mean, you know, when we need it. I mean, it really helps. And so that's why we feel really secure about our capabilities and skills. If one of us gets injured, hurt, we know mechanics, we know ballistics, we know
Yeah.
a lot of different things on the team. So that's why we feel very, very comfortable with the team, no matter where we go, how remote it is. So let's see. How come we never get to see Sarah? You need to get her seen sometime, guys. So, Sarah, you can have a seat right here real quick so people can see you if you want. Here, have a seat. Have a seat. Say hi to YouTube, Sarah.
Hi, everybody. See, I exist. I'm real. Okay, if I would have known, I would have done something with my hair. Bye.
Sorry, she had no idea that was in there, and it was a question that someone had. So anyway, that's Sarah. She really exists.
In one of your shirts.
Okay, next question. Mike, this is for you. What is it like filming for these guys, and do you carry a gun when you go out? What is it like filming for these guys, and do you carry a gun when you go out?
It's a good question. Yes, they do give me a gun to carry, and I have my camera. So really, to be honest with you, these guys back me up. I try to focus on getting the shots that they need me to get, so we can get it out to you guys so you can see it, and you'll see this later on as we continue to build our portfolio and give it to you guys. So yes, they do, but they all take care of me. I've got a doctor, and I've got an excellent marksman over here, so I feel pretty comfortable in the woods with these guys.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Mike, he takes care of us too. I mean, Mike is really good. We shared a lot here at my house on scenes and going through what we want to have happen, and he's very knowledgeable about that, and I learn a lot from Mike, and he's a great guy to have, so we appreciate you a lot. A lot.
Yeah, we all have each other's back out there. No matter what job you do out there, everyone is, on point, and we're all kind of heads on a swivel kind of thing, So.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's one in here. Thank you, Mike, very much. That's awesome. Mike's doing a great job here for
Thanks,
us.
Mike.
Yep. There was one I saw in here. Oh, okay. I gotta read this one. I don't know. I saw this in here.
Kept my seat warm there. So.
Okay. Is Wiley Dave single?
Wiley, answer the question.
Yeah, I'm single.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, tell them you have an Instagram or
Send a
Twitter.
picture of your house and all your animals, and if you got any guns and stuff.
Oh man. Oh,
Send
man.
them to your social media if you have one.
Yeah. Contact Lance, he's my agent.
Oh, now it's gonna roll in now.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. Lance, after having your YouTube show since 2017, what can you share, if you're willing, about what or who these MIB people are and their role, and what do they want with these Bigfoot and dogman creatures?
Here we go.
Well, that'd be another...
That's a loaded question.
Yeah, there's a lot of things on that it would take hours to go through, but I'll just say that these, and we just collectively call them, I hate using that term, the Men in Black, the MIBs, but these people, they do exist, they are real, they probably represent different types of agencies that I understand behind the shadow.
Okay.
And these people, you have the government we all see on television, that's every night, and then you have a government behind the scenes that we call the shadow government. So I would say that these people are real. They represent different backgrounds of national security. I don't feel like I have the insider intel. I just know that they have messed with my computer, my phones, these
All
people.
of our phones.
Yeah, I mean, nothing is sacred anymore. Nothing is private, as you guys know. So I will say this, and I don't want to get too deep in the weeds here, but if you have an encounter, there's men and women that represent our law enforcement, whether it's forestry, whether it's game wardens, game department, and police. But in an encounter like this, unless there was any type of direct injury to you,
Don't call.
I wouldn't call. I really wouldn't, because there's no crime committed. And what's going to happen is these folks, in some instances, are trained to call these MIB, and they'll be knocking at your door, and it's going to open up a whole can of worms and Pandora's box here. So if you need to talk to someone about an encounter, you can always call us toll free. We understand. You don't have to convince us. We know these are real. These people are real, and we'll give you the ins and outs. I don't have time to get all the details of what these people can do, but we're actually in some material right now that you will soon know what to do. I'll just say that. So we're getting ready to have something out there for those people. What do I do if I have an encounter? Things like that. So, why haven't you posted any new shows on YouTube? Well, I went through that. We've had a lot of things going, but this will be. Lance, I really love your style of interviewing people and everyone else. You guys are down to earth. How you help eyewitnesses cope. Have you thought about making any other kinds of YouTube shows in the future? Yes. Yes, we have. And I won't let the cat out of the bag right now, but yes, we have. And we've talked about it.
Yeah.
And we're excited. It's a time issue.
Yeah.
It's a time issue, but yes, we have. And Mike and I have talked about this extensively quite a bit. And so
Boy, do we got some stories.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
we got content already.
yeah.
We've got
and video.
and video and content ready to go. We just need to put it on. So
Yeah.
you guys are going to be blown away with that. Lance, I lost track of you guys. How do I follow your new shows on Patreon? Well, Patreon, to explain it, some of you that follow us are not, some are computer savvy, some are not. I wasn't. I had to learn all this stuff myself, so I understand. Patreon is a membership platform. In other words, there's a company called Patreon, and for people that want to create members out there, it's out there for them. And so it can be for anything. You can use Patreon for anything. Well, we're using it to grow our podcast show, and that's what we use it. And one way to do it, and I'm going to have a link how to get there, but it's basically www.patreon is patreon.com/Cryptid Brothers Investigations, and that'll get to it. But we'll have a link below. So that's what Patreon really is. It's a membership site. And some of you already know what that is because you're following other podcasters that are out there in this genre already. I think we've gone through.
One point I would like to make too is if someone
Keep
didn't
going.
necessarily, say, well, it is additional extra content that you won't find on YouTube within the Patreon membership site. I mean, you show how to cast a Bigfoot print. If you ever wanted to know that, Patreon membership. Actually, Bigfoot sounds that have never been heard on YouTube. Just
No, it's the
curdling,
it's
bone chilling.
It's unedited.
Yeah.
It's raw.
Yeah.
We
That's
made that-
dogman right there.
Sound effects.
we got,
Hey, sound effects. That's cool.
It's our neighbor's dog here. He's upset. He's mad.
But yeah, I mean, there's content that you won't find elsewhere. But again, we've said it before. That's a way to support us. Even if you didn't want that extra content, there's ways to do that through the Patreon.
Yeah, and I want to. There's some people out there to thank. We've had a lot of people call to donate their skills, and we
appreciate that too. I mean,
absolutely.
we're
Excuse
honored,
me. We have a lady out of Hennessy, Oklahoma. She's donated some of her embroidery services, and which was amazing. And we have people donating some of their artwork, and we're open to that. We're very open to that, and we can all work together to kind of, because it's about communication of small business.
Right,
doing
and the
that
goal
together.
for us is to do it full time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thanks. So with that being said, we have a member that's not here, but he's still on the team, and that is our electrical engineer.
Mm-hmm.
He used to work with a very well-known company. He's retired. He's an electrical engineer, and he builds all the cameras that we use to keep us safe. And that
Infrared, thermal.
infrared,
They're
thermal.
both.
They're
Night
both.
vision.
They're one of a kind.
Video.
Night vision.
Yeah.
And it has DVRs on it. So Bob, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Bob is an integral part of the team. He is actually in Ohio, and we really appreciate Bob. And so he's helped
Sent
us
us
out.
that Bigfoot track from what was that? Was it the Salt Fork or wherever it was?
Yeah, the Salt Fork.
Yeah.
I think so. And so when we get the podcast show built here in my house, we'll have some of the things that Bob has sent to us, and we'll have some unique items. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Bob is a great guy. He builds these cameras and he sends them, and we communicate a little bit of what we need, and he builds them, and he's just really good at that. And just a lot of kudos to him for helping us out on that regard. So we appreciate him too.
Well, the other thing too that we want to tell them is if they want to, when we start going out, now that we're going to have time to do more encounters, they're going to be able to go with us when I'm calling. So it's like they're going to be with the team. They're going to be on the team with us. They won't be there in person, but they're going to be there in video. They're going to be able to see what we see.
Yeah.
So when I'm calling and you guys are in front looking, and then Mike's filming from behind, and Layne is watching the back door. I mean, they're going to all be in the video, but we're mainly doing a 360 because we just don't know where they're going to come from.
Right.
I mean, they use the wind direction like a coyote does, and when the wind changes, they change. So they'll try to circle downwind and come in behind you. So we got to be on a 360 looking for them.
Yeah, and he made these. What did he tell you, Lance? So he wanted us to be safe out there.
He made them because he was concerned for our safety, and he said he wanted to help us capture footage, and with these cameras we can, because there's that infrared that we believe that they can see in that infrared spectrum, just the way their cones and rods are made. And so predators, when do predators typically come out?
Yeah, they come out at night.
They come out at night.
A lot of the dogman sightings, I saw my dogman, 30 minutes before sundown, so it was very visible. I would have gave anything if I'd had the camera instead of the gun.
Yeah.
But then I also wanted that M14 there because I never seen one of these. I didn't know what it was going to do.
Yeah.
Need a camera lens that converts over, that clicks over, kind of like in The Mask. You can have a rifle all of a sudden.
Right.
But I'd love to have a picture of that sucker, but it was. It was a life-changing experience for me.
Yeah, I mean, it is for a lot of these people, and that's the biggest thing that we want to. I don't have any more questions, but is that I know this is entertainment. I almost like to call it edutainment because I know a lot of people listen because it is entertainment, but we have to remember that these are encounters that happen to real people, and we help them to cope with a lot of our listening. And we try to give recommendations off air to a lot of these folks on how best. But talking therapy is one of the best things for people that have a lot of variation, whether it's anxiety, a lot of high stress, or at a level of PTSD. And there's varying levels of PTSD, of course. And there's
a lot of times when we're almost like the first ear that we lend that ear to them, where before they haven't gotten that elsewhere, even from friends and family, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's just it.
We'll be going in right to where they saw it or where they had the encounter. We're going to be right there. We're going to go to where they are.
Yeah.
But another thing, I was going to say, when the people are watching on the podcast, this is an alpha predator. I mean, this thing is the king of the walk. So I'm a predator hunter. I've called north, south, east, and west, everywhere, all the western states, all down south, and a little bit east, and I've hunted coyotes everywhere, and this is the first one of these I've ever seen, but these things are starting to be more prevalent everywhere. People seeing them, so they're going to see these eventually. One's going to come in. They're going to see it, but they're going to see mountain lions. They're going to see coyotes. They're going to see, maybe we might see a bear. Be raccoons come in. I mean, there'll be all the predators come.
Feral dogs.
Feral hogs. I mean, what about the two big hogs we seen the day I had you at the ranch? If you were walking by yourself and didn't have a gun, you'd have been in some serious trouble. Them suckers had tusks that long.
Yeah, they were big. They were huge.
They weighed 450 easy.
So, anyway, I guess we're a little out of time here. Wanted to read some of these off here. These real questions from many of you guys. Been wanting to know where we're at, and we're still alive. We're kicking here in Tulsa. And wish Layne could have been with us, but he's busy in Norman, and Bob, of course, Bob's in Ohio, and but Sarah and Mike back here helping us this evening in my backyard. But thank you guys. We just wanted to send out a video to you guys, let you know that we're still kicking, we're still alive, and we appreciate you guys. Absolutely. And we don't want you to feel that we abandon you or anything like that. We're just trying to grow the show to try and gain equipment and improve the video and audio that you guys have been requesting, many of the YouTube followers, for a long time. So this way, by having the membership, it allows us to do that, because we were at a point where it just kind of we needed a revenue source, spending hours and hours and hours through each week. So Anyway, I guess
you can go ahead and put it in on the website. You need to go ahead and put a place in there so all these ladies can contact me. They can send their phone number. You got this started, man.
He had to slip that in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to start. Lance is my agent. He'll take care of it.
okay. If you guys want a Wiley Dave page, just let me know, and we'll try to create a Wiley Dave page for the ladies, I guess. I better not do that because it'll be overwhelming.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. Well, this is Lance and
Bill?
Wiley Dave.
and we appreciate you guys. And we're Cryptid Brothers Investigations of Oklahoma.
Take care.
A lot.
All right.
That went pretty good. Guys, this is Wiley Dave Fritz with Cryptid Brothers Investigation of Oklahoma. I'm over here by Skytooth Lake today to talk to a young man that's 9 years old that's seen a Sasquatch back in about August. And we've been trying to get over here to talk to him. There's something in the woods in Oklahoma. People have been seeing these things since back in the 1800s. Some believe it, some don't. Hunters see them, and some of them say things. Some of them won't go back in the woods. I know some guys personally that have sold their guns and bows, and they give up hunting. They won't go back in the woods. But we're on our team, and we're here to find out what this is. Lance and Bill and Layne, they're down at the Honabi Festival. And this fell to me and Mike because this is really our territory here. So we come over here by the lake to talk to this young man. Now this sign behind me is 9 foot tall. And what he tells me is when he's seen this run off the boat dock and up into the woods, that the head of that Sasquatch was above that sign. You say that's hard to believe. Well, guess what? There's people here in Oklahoma that's seen them. We took an investigation from a guy this last year that saw one, that there was a sign that was 12 feet tall, and he said its head was even with the sign. 12 feet tall is hard to believe, but it scared him so bad. He grew up there. He was a rancher. He left the area. He don't want to go back down in there. So Lance and I went and checked it out with all the other brothers. So we're going to talk to this young man today and see what he saw. So his name is Braden Jones. Braden?
Nice to meet you.
All right, glad to meet you, buddy. You're pretty brave to come on the show. So what we're going to do is we're going to go sit down and we're going to talk to the cameraman, Michael, and we're going to let you tell the folks what you've seen.
Okay.
All right, good deal. Let's go.
Thank you. We came here at around 10 o'clock p.m. And so we're catfishing, and so we're going to pack up before 1 o'clock. And so we were about to leave at 12:40, and so my dad was packing up the chairs and stuff, and so I was just looking off in the distance. There's this light post that has a white sign, and it is around 9 feet. Okay, so there's right when I saw it, I saw this figure, and it just jumped up, and then it started running, and I could only see it for around 3 seconds. It was like running, and its arms were moving like really big, and I said, "Hey, Dad," and he said, "What?" And then already it went in the woods, and I was like, "There's this big figure in the up where that light post is," and he said, "Let me see," and then we were over here for like 5 minutes before he says, he's like, We'll come back here another time and we'll see what happened, if we can see any footprints." So then we left to go back home.
Okay, when you, I think you told me, did you have like a head lantern on when you seen it? Did you see any eye shine or anything?
No, its head was kind of diagonal, so it kind of couldn't see me. Well, it didn't want to look at me. And I did have a headlight on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your dad had one too?
Yes.
Okay, so both of you were, basically you'd already come off of the dock and you were loading up to go to the house, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, when you first seen him, what did you do? I mean, did you have a sudden fear, or were you just totally excited, or were you just startled? What?
I didn't have time to be scared or any impression because I could only see it for around 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's the way it happens for some people. They just have the glimpse of it, and then when it crosses the road. There's been a lot of sightings of in this part of the country, and a lot of people won't say anything about it. They're really silent about it. But I think, we've done quite a few investigations and talked to quite a few people across the country. I think you're about probably the youngest person that has come on camera with an actual encounter. So this is a very big deal for us and a very big deal for you, and the viewers out there will probably be very interested in this. I mean, did you have any interest in Bigfoot or Sasquatch before you ever saw this one?
I had been watching some Bigfoot TV shows and stuff.
So you knew when you seen it, you knew what it was?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, so there are different colored ones around. You know, we see different colored ones in the woods. People describe all kinds of them. But a solid black one, the one that, I think the one that Tim Hayhurst, he works with us, he did an encounter with us over there at the shop, and I think he lives not far from you guys. He saw one back in the 70s here when him and his dad was deer hunting over here before the lake was here. Yeah. And he said it came to their campsite, and it was kind of a red one, I think. But he said it came in close to about 30, 40 feet from the campsite, and they could tell it was a Bigfoot. Of course, then Bigfoot wasn't very famous. That was right around the time Roger Patterson introduced his film, Patterson-Gimlin film, the one they call Patty.
Yeah.
So, you know, so Patty was black colored and about 8 feet tall. So that's kind of what you saw about the same figure.
Yeah, but it was taller than 8 feet.
So it was taller. So we're gonna say maybe it was a male one then, right?
Yeah.
Would have been a male. Okay. So did he act like he was afraid of you, or was he just wanting to get to the woods? He didn't want to be seen, or what do you think it was?
I'm pretty sure he didn't want to be seen.
Okay. Well, he didn't quite make it because you saw him, but that's good. That's really good eyes that you were paying attention and caught him in the light. Because I mean, it was just. We'll look at that dumpster and everything, but from where Mike and I could tell, he was just a few seconds and he was in the woods.
Yeah.
So yeah, they can jump a long ways, you know. So there's a lot of people that won't talk about this, and you're really brave coming on camera and telling us your encounter. Yeah. How about your schoolmates and stuff? The people you see at school, have you said anything to your buddies or talked to them about it?
No.
Okay. You think they'll give you a hard time after they see the film?
Maybe, I don't know. Some people don't even watch this.
Well, I know it'll get around. I mean, a lot of people will, but for the people out there at home that don't believe in these, I mean, you really have to think about it. For this young guy to come on camera and tell what he saw, we had a really hard time talking his mother into letting him do this because she was afraid of different things that might happen. She didn't want to have people giving him a hard time. And, you know, little kids, what they do is they just tell what they saw. They don't really know to make up anything. I mean, they can see things on TV, but when they see something, they see it. So that's why we come down here, because it's a pretty credible sighting, and being in the area where they have been seen really close to here. So, you know, this is not something I think he made up out of his head. It was actually here. So this is a good size, pretty good size animal that he saw, and it took only 3 or 4 seconds for it to be in the woods. So it made quite a jump from that dumpster. So did it make any noise, or when it run off, did you hear any brush, or did it make any grunting sounds, or?
No, surprisingly, it made no sound when it ran.
So he's really silent, huh?
Yes.
He's just pretty swift and he's out there. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens a lot of times. I mean, they're really silent anyway. So, being you live close to the lake and you and your dad fish here all the time, are you afraid to come back at night?
No.
So you don't think he wasn't wanting to sneak up on you and hurt you or anything? He was just probably looking. He's probably trying to watch you. I bet he was watching you guys where you were fishing. More than likely, he thought maybe you left some fish behind or something. He was going to get a free meal. But your dad, how many did you catch? You and your dad caught 1 or 2?
Yeah, 1 or 2.
Okay. Well, you didn't leave any for him. He's going to take those home. So, but that's what they do. They come around, sneak around in campsites and stuff. And I mean, there's people here at the lake that probably been observed by them that didn't even know they was being watched.
Yeah.
But they are in the woods. People in Oklahoma, a lot of them don't believe it. And, you know, I really wasn't into this ball game at all until I saw what I saw. And then when you see it, you see it. And you just, you know, your head's not, you're not ready for it. Just let me say that, you're not ready for it. The encounters just happen. I mean, it's there in front of you, and then you don't know what to do. I mean, it's just kind of, you know, you can't, is this real? You know, and you have to think about it. But it'd be kind of hard to find a 9-foot tall guy that's walking around at 1 o'clock in the morning with a big suit on. Yeah. So what'd your dad say? What did he think about it? Y'all discuss it when you were riding home? What did he think about that?
Yeah, we were discussing it in the car.
What'd your mother say?
She wasn't really into it. She was like...
She wasn't really into it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, some people aren't, some people aren't. But, I mean, if you ever see one, it's like, you know, it never leaves your mind. You'll never forget that as long as you live. So, did you, I mean, you don't have nightmares or anything about it?
No.
So, do you think about it quite a bit?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to stay with you. You're really fortunate to be able to see one, because there is people that are dying to see one. There's people that want to pay to see one, and they still can't get an encounter, and they decide when this is going to happen. We don't decide, they do, because they, you know, they're interested in what you're doing, or they're sneaking around watching you fish, or watching you, you know, at your campsite or whatever. And most of the time it's you know, encounters where people don't get too scared, but there are encounters where, you know, that's kind of dangerous for people in the woods. The hunters have something like that. But you know, this one here, he seemed to be like he was just maybe wanting to investigate your fishing, or he was going to look in that dumpster to see if he could find him something to eat out of there, because they've been known to do that. Okay, so what do you think about you know, the Sasquatch in Oklahoma? I mean, you're in a state where they're really big in Oklahoma. What do you think about them being all over the state?
They don't really worry me that much.
Well, you don't. I mean, you act to me like you're not afraid of too much. I mean, you're in karate. Your dad's got you in karate, right?
Yeah, and my mom.
Yeah, so that takes a pretty strong young man to do that anyway. So, have you ever been hunting with your dad?
No, not yet.
Okay, but you're not afraid to go, right?
No.
Okay, well, that's pretty good. I don't think we need to be afraid of these animals. I mean, I'm not afraid of them. I used to bow hunt and walk through the woods around here, even when I first started, going to tree stands in the dark and coming out in the dark, and never had anything happen. I don't think they're really in the woods to try to harm people right now, but they're more really just curious about what's going on, because we've kind of encroached on their world a little bit by building the lake here, and people living out around the lake and living in closer, encroaching on their area. So, you know, it's just natural that they're going to be interested in what we're doing. So, you know, they try to stay hidden as much as possible, right?
Yeah.
Okay, was that what you would do if you were a Sasquatch?
Pretty much, yeah.
Would you? Okay. So, when you told your mother, how did she exactly think? I mean, how did she feel about it? Did she look at you and go, "Oh, Braden, are you thinking this up?" Or what'd she say?
She wasn't really. She's like, "Oh, you really did? Okay."
So she was kind of receptive to it, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good. Okay, a lot of people, you know, little kids see one, they'll say, "Oh, you're just seeing shadows or seeing things." But I found out a long time ago, you know, that when little kids see something, they see something. You know, when I was about, what are you, 9?
Yeah.
Okay, when I was about 10 years old, I went deer hunting with my dad, and then a couple of years later, when I was hunting with him bow hunting, I was a little bit older than you were, I saw a mountain lion for my very first time in the woods, and he came by me, and you know, he just didn't pay me no mind. I don't think he really seen me or smelled me. He was about 75 yards away, and he was just walking through the trees, and not many people get to see mountain lions here in Oklahoma. There's hunters that hunt all their life and never see one.
Yeah.
And then I became a predator caller, and I've seen quite a few of them. But so, what do you think? What do you think about all this Bigfoot stuff across the country? I mean, what's your overall take on the whole scene?
They're not that. I'm not really that scared about all of them, but like if I come like face to face with them, I'm probably gonna be scared.
Well, the main thing is, you know about predators. I'm sure your dad's told you not to run.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, not to run. And most of the encounters with little kids, I mean, that have run up on one, they really haven't been encounters of them just, you know, doing something to the child. They usually just kind of check them out and go on. But, you know, it seems if the kid's in trouble, they'll try to bring it back to their parents or something. There's been 2 or 3 encounters like that. So we really don't know what to think about them being around kids, but the parents really don't want them around little kids by themselves. So, because we don't know their real intent, because we don't know that much about them.
No.
But we're trying to learn everything we can about them. And everybody says, well, they're an expert. But what do you think about somebody saying they're an expert on Sasquatch?
I'd say they're right.
You think I'm right?
Yep.
I don't know if you can say that or not, because there hasn't been enough people. There might be people that know they're after an array of encounters, but I'm saying like that know everything about them. It would be hard. It'd be hard. We'd be hard pressed to know everything unless you lived with one, huh?
Yeah.
So it would be a deal where you'd have to stay with them all the time and see what they do.
Yeah.
So some of the things we know that they do is kind of a guesswork. So you know, if you can you draw or anything? Do you ever try to think about drawing it out and what you saw and showing your dad what it really looked like?
No.
Huh, okay. Well, there's a big perception in Oklahoma. All these Sasquatch sightings are all over the state. And there hasn't been a lot of stuff up here in Osage County, so you're about one of the first people that I've talked to that has actually seen one around the lake, except for Tim Hayhurst. Now, last deer season, when I was coming home on Highway 20, it was raining that night, and I was coming from Drummond Ranch up there, and I saw one cross the road, and I just happenstance, I just happened to be there at the right time. It jumped the road, there was a bag of trash in the road, and it grabbed that bag of trash and was across the highway before, like your encounter, just a few seconds.
Yeah.
But I knew what it was, and there was other people coming towards me in the westbound lane. One of the guys swerved at my truck, and I had to go off the road to miss him, and I went down the road a little bit, and I stopped and got out, and the other people, kind of their brake lights come on, but they just went on. Nothing happened. So I came back the next day and took pictures of where he jumped the fence and dropped trash. So I trailed him into the woods, but he was in an awful hurry getting across that highway.
Yeah.
So I don't know if one maybe crossed before him and dropped it or what the deal was, but it's just one of them happen chance encounters, and I was right there and at the right time.
Yeah.
So that is about 4 miles, 5 miles here, straight across the lake as the crow flies. So in a straight line where you are, Tim Hayhurst seen his about 3 miles right over here.
Huh.
So there we go. We got 3 different sightings within a 5-mile area.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Brandon, I'm gonna have you talk with Mike, and he's gonna work with your dad, and we're gonna show the people kind of what you saw. Okay. So what I want you to do is just be yourself and show the folks at home kind of what you seen and how you seen it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, buddy, for talking to you.
Yep.
All right. All right, Braden, we're here on the dock, and we're kind of in the line of sight where you guys were fishing. Once you go over to that bush there and show us, kind of recreating the best way you know how, just kind of show us where you see him and how he kind of walked off, okay?
Okay.
All righty.
So it was right behind this bush, kind of. It was right behind it, and it was watching us, and then when I saw it, I looked at it for a minute, it went right through just like one leap, and then it started running all the way to...
So he ran past the dumpster.
He ran past the dumpster into the trees.
Behind the dumpster.
Well, he ran behind it, and then he went in
Between the
trees.
sign and that dumpster.
Yeah.
So he was getting it pretty good, wasn't he?
Yes.
That's moving on for something that big, 9 foot tall, getting out of there. He was getting out of Dodge, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But at least you got to see him. That's good eyes, paying attention like that.
Yeah.
No, nothing to be able to sneak up on you in the woods when you're hunting.
I know.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good eyes looking around. You seem like you got a really good. Your dad's got you a good headlamp there too.
Yeah.
So, can you reach up there on the sign and kind of show us how tall you think he really was? Tell me about. Just tell the folks at home about how high you think he was where the writing on that sign is.
It was around 1.5 feet above that white sign, and that white sign...
So he was taller than the sign?
Yes.
Good night. That's a big one.
Yeah, and that sign is 9 feet tall.
That is a big one. I guarantee you that's King Kong right there, my boy.
Yeah.
I'm 6 feet tall, and I can't even reach my flashlight to the top of the sign.
Yeah, there's one down in eastern Oklahoma down there where me and Lance went to talk to a rancher that saw one, that tall, one morning.
Yeah.
And it scared him so bad he didn't want nothing to do with it. He turned his truck around and went back to the house. So there are those that are that big out there. So there's people that really just don't know what we're dealing with. I mean, something that size, that is a very, very large animal.
Yeah.
And people say these people out there say they're a type of people, and they're a certain tribe of lost people and all this. You don't believe that, do you?
No.
No, they're an animal. They're an animal. I mean, I think they're a smart animal. They know how to communicate. All animals communicate with each other.
Yeah.
But we just can't figure out their language. So something that big, that's not normal, is it?
No.
By any account. Well, that's a very good sighting. I mean, you're a very lucky young man to be able to see that. There's a lot of people that would pay, if they could see one for that long, they'd pay $5,000 just to look at a real one that close for that long.
Yeah.
We've had them call up the channel, and they've offered Lance and I all kinds of money to take them out, but we don't really do that because of insurance problems and stuff. If one of them got hurt, it'd be a really bad deal, so we can't really do that, and they're not, they're not really tied in with the team or anything.
Yeah.
They wouldn't know what to do if we had some kind of a problem. We'd have to take care of them and take care of keeping them safe. And in that encounter, we could get one of our own guys hurt. So right now, we just don't do that.
Yeah.
But you were lucky with your dad. I mean, I know your dad, and he's a pretty good guy, pretty smart guy. He's not going to let nothing happen to you.
Yeah.
But there's no need to fear him, I think. I don't think he's trying to hurt anybody. I think he's just trying to see if he can get a free meal.
Yeah.
Keep talking? Okay. So when he ran from the brush, just tell me, how long do you think how long did it take him to get from there to the pole? 2 or 3 seconds?
2 or 3, yeah.
Yeah, man, he was moving. That's it's 20 yards from here to those rocks where you went in down there in the edge of the tree. So he made a 20-yard jump in 2 or 3 seconds. That's moving.
Yeah.
Of course, he does have a stride of about 7 feet to do that.
Yeah.
Was it dry ground or was it wet ground that night? It hadn't been raining or anything, so he didn't leave any tracks, huh?
No.
It was dry. We went and looked for any in there. It was just rocky and dry down there.
Did you go into the woods right after that?
No.
You didn't?
No.
But you went down to the edge of the water to see if you could see anything.
Yeah.
That's probably where he come up, was along the edge of the grass there. I'm sure he was watching you guys.
Yeah.
Probably, he's probably come down here with fishermen before. They might have cleaned their fish there or whatever. I'm sure he was looking for some snacks.
Yeah, because as you can see, there's all kinds of trash in this dumpster. There's bags of cattle feed.
Yeah.
There's probably all kinds of stuff in there that they probably...
That night that I saw the one on Highway 20, that's what he was carrying, was a bag of trash.
Yeah.
So he'd probably been to a ranch house and stole that somewhere. Somebody did, because they dropped it in the middle of the road, and he hightailed it, man. He didn't even miss a step. He grabbed that thing, was over the top of that bank before you could blink an eye.
Yeah, that night, this light, there were no lights on out here. Both of these lights were out. So the only light we had was what was on his head.
So you just caught him in your headlamp, didn't you? That's
Yeah.
pretty good, though. I mean, being able to see him with that headlamp, you stayed right on him, so.
That's what I was saying earlier is he wasn't able to see it go very far into the brush because that's all he had was his headlamp.
Yeah.
You're very fortunate to be able to see him. I don't know anybody that young around here, really, that's had an encounter.
Yep.
Except for you. So you're what, 9 years old, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this will be something you'll never forget. You'll be able to tell your kids and your grandkids about it.
Yep.
The day you saw Sasquatch with your dad.
Then it rained right into this area of trees, and then it zigzagged around the trees, and then it disappeared.
Where's the last place you saw it?
The last place I saw it,
Right about here.
it was right about right here. It was like right here.